Good afternoon, metal detector in Britain and beyond, and here we are live at Ribchester, a live dig. Well, it's not me that's digging, it's archaeologists excavating Roman remains in Ribchester. Show you some of the finds. Yeah, I've seen some iron pins and the pot. I can't date this stuff, I do not know. So we have more bits of bone, tile, possibly bronze smelt or iron smelt, bones, randomness, iron pin in the corner, two pieces of glass, modern plant pot or Samian ware, I don't know. Yeah, interesting stuff. Some of the rocks that they've been pulling up. Trowels and brushes and sponges and wheelbarrows, so sort of a miniature time team.
Here we've got this lovely slot here.
Yeah.
Basically we thought it was a well feature.
Yeah.
And then we dug down and we found this 2nd century floor.
All right.
The current theory is that there was an older well. You can see where it's slumping inwards, that it was there. So basically they had a well, they backfilled it, but the soil that they put into the well wasn't as compacted as the stuff outside. So basically over time it's compacted more and more, resulting in the slumping of the floor.
Yeah.
Behind that you can see that orange clay section. That was a floor of a structure. We've got a beam slot next to it, which is that rectangular sort of ditch where basically they would have dug down, popped a beam in, and it would have held up the door frame.
All right.
We've got a parallel one just over here as well, so we're starting to think that that looks more and more like
Do you know what the building
structure.
was for at all?
We think it was a barracks that basically ran that way.
Is it connected to the ones on this side? No?
Those are granaries.
Granaries.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where they would have stored the grain. This is where the soldiers would have slept. We've got some post holes popping up along the side of the trench as well, which we think were maybe part of a veranda or an annex or something that was attached to the building. We also have evidence of metal working in this area of the trench. We're pulling up some slag and some hammer scale, stuff like that. So we think that in the later phases of the fort, after the Roman Empire started to decline and they couldn't afford to import a lot of these things, they had to start making it themselves.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take you around this side and show you the
thank
little
you.
section.
Just look at the last day. What do you do with this? Do you refill it, or what do you going to expose it?
Some of it gets refilled just so in case anyone goes in it while we're away. No one breaks their legs or anything, but it'll get covered up with the tarp and some big stones we put on it to sort of weigh it down.
And then come back and carry on later?
It'll get backfilled. It'll get backfilled at the end of our 5-year excavation and all filled up. So next year's our last year. So running through the middle here, we've got the east-west road, which they've currently put a slot through basically to try and figure out what phase of the fort this road is, how old it is, that sort of thing. Find some datable material. This ditch here next to it is part of the excavation by Thomas May in 1906. He ran a trench basically going that way. Most of it didn't touch the road. This part was just significantly deeper than the rest of the trench, so we still got a little bit of it left over. We know it was his because basically he'd backfill it all, along with broken bits of like Victorian pottery and glass, things like that. Running next to the road, we've got what we think is a drainage ditch for the road, basically for water runoff, things like that. Got quite a few people up there, so I'll just kind of do it from here if you want.
Is that the road where the tripod is? Is that actually
that raised section.
Yeah.
So this is part of it as well. It runs the entire way across. They just put a slot through the middle of it at the moment to try and date it.
This is one that would have run all the way to Kirkham and beyond.
Quite possibly, I'm not sure. I haven't looked at a map. But yes, that's the east-west road. We've got the north-south road that runs here, so they run like this. Just here we've got the guardhouse. We've got 2 phases for the guardhouse. This front section here where we've got 3 people on the ground is the earlier phase of the guardhouse where it would have been a wooden structure. Just to the back there with the blue buckets and the girl matticking, that's the later phase of the guardhouse where it would have been a stone structure.
Okay.
So what I think that's Louise is lying on the ground excavating, is a shoe. So basically Roman shoes are made out of leather and they had hobnails in the bottom which worked like the tread of your shoe now.
Yeah.
So when they left a whole shoe, basically, a lot of the time the leather would deteriorate, but it would leave the hobnails in the shape of the shoe, essentially just leaving the sole of your shoe behind. We find hobnails all over the place because they basically, they fall out of your shoe all the time, they break, things like that, especially walking on these cobbled surfaces. So we've got them scattered everywhere. But when you find them in a group, you can often sort of, they have to plot out on the grid paper and everything, and you can find out that it's actually a shoe. I think it's number 8 or 9. We've got about 6 from that section and another 2 further up.